Hi Abhinay,
Yeah, hello, ma'am. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good. Means in today's class now we'll start with the MLOps, right? Uh,
Okay.
okay.
Abhinay, just one thing, after ML, we will
So
start
we
with
can
deep learning also, no?
exactly. So we have finished the machine learning. I guess you are watching the recordings, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so we have finished that machine learning. In every algorithm, we have covered that you are asking the reinforcement, SVM, XGBoost, everything, right?
Hmm.
And means I guess this month we'll take MLOps, right? We will do MLOps complete. Mean from the scratch. We'll start with the Git, right? We'll go to the cloud, everything. Mean AWS. We will more proficient. We will basically use the AWS, right? So if you don't have the account, so I will recommend to make one account in AWS. So that will basically help you to practice also side by side. Okay.
Okay, okay, yeah.
And after that now we will jump to the deep learning part and see if you will complete machine learning means in very depth, right? So deep learning will be now very easy, right? You will understand everything in a very good way. Okay, so this is
Okay,
the scenario.
sure,
Yeah,
yeah,
so we can wait for 2 to 3 minutes, right? So everyone can join, so we can just start after that.
sure.
Yeah.
Abhinay, just one thing, the recordings are been uploaded, na, till up to date, till till Friday. All the recordings are there, right?
Yeah, I hope Sameer sir has done that particular thing. So I
Okay,
will
I'll check
ask
with
him
him.
one more time.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, I will ask him.
Okay, thanks.
I hope my screen is visible, right?
Yes.
Okay, okay, thank you. Okay, so starting with the MLOps, right? So after finishing the complete playlist for that machine learning, right? So our topic will be the MLOps. The reason being is that see, everyone knows that when you make any sort of application, right, irrespective of whether that application belongs to your normal, it could be your normal software also, right, or it is belonging to any machine learning algorithm or any deep learning or any generative AI project. Okay, so see, everyone wants that that particular project or that particular application, or you can say that particular project, right? That can be accessed by all the people, right? Or you can say the n number of people can access that particular thing. Okay. So for that particular thing now, what we have the concept of the cloud, right? Because we know that we can run all those applications, whether it is deep learning or any software or the machine related project or anything, right, in our local system. But whenever you want that all the people can access your application, right, so that thing need to be pushed into some cloud, right? And cloud is the kind of infrastructure, you can say, that will give you the facility that you can access any sort of code, any sort of application from anywhere, right, with the help of the internet connectivity. Okay, so here's the new concept came, right, and that is known as MLOps, or you can say the DevOps, right? So DevOps is the, you can say, the foundational word, right? Development operations. You basically, the abbreviation is, right. You can just say this one, development operations, right? And from this word, many words came into the existence, just like we have the MLOps, right? Machine learning operations, right? We have the DLOps also, right? Deep learning operation. And nowadays, one more terms is basically coining, right? That is known as Gen AI ops, right? Or sometimes the people used to do call Gen ops. Okay, so these are the some you can say the domain specific, right? So you can say this is the generic term for the deployment of your application into the cloud, right? So this is the one thing. Okay, and this is the something, the necessity why the people used to learn the MLOps or DelOps, or you can say uh, uh, DelOps and your MLOps and your DLOps, right? So these things. Okay, so we'll start with the very very basic, right? We will see what is Git, how we can use, basically we can use the Git, right? And why the Git is very very important software in today's time, right? And we will also see that how we can use the cloud service, though the Git is also kind of cloud, right? So we can see the other cloud services also, just like we have the AWS, right? So we will give the majorly focus on the AWS as compared to the Azure service, right? If you have any doubt, so we can just figure out that particular thing, right? Meanwhile, we will just go with this Git and the AWS. So one the prerequisite is that now, if you don't have the AWS account, so I will recommend that to make the AWS account so that you can practice side by side also. Okay, because these are some tools, right? And whenever you will practice now, then only you will get to know that okay how to perform all those stuff, right? Now starting with this uh, MLOps, right? So if you will learn these things, na, MLOps, right? So DLOps will be much more easier for you. Wherein you can say 80% of the things are same, right? Means in the operation way, 80% of the thing will be same, whether it is your development, DevOps, whether it is your MLOps, or whether it is your DLOps or generative AI ops, right? So 80% of the things are same, only 20 or the 15% things differ, right? That is with respect to your coding part. Okay. See, if we talk about the MLOps, right, or if you will talk about the AI, okay. So what you will get now, you have the data, right? You apply some sort of algorithm, your AI algorithm, and after that you basically give some, or you basically have some result, right? And that result could be in the form of values and so on. Okay. So this is how, in a broad way, you can look that okay, this is generative AI, or sorry, this is your AI, right? and basically how the people from the outer world think that basically how the things are working, right? But this is not the complete truth. The reason being is that now we have the n number of process, right? We have the n number of process, and we have seen this thing in the machine learning. Okay, so we will talk about one by one, right? And after that we will come to the operations part. Okay, so if we talk about the data, right? So in the feature engineering technique we have seen that how you can do the selection of the data. We know that data is something very very important in today's world, and I can give you the quick example also. You know that in today's world we have OpenAI, right? We have the model from Claude also, anthropic model, right? We have the DeepSeek. Okay, and after that we have the n number of large language models, or you can say the small language models present in today's time, right? But you know that the OpenAI is something the people used to prefer, right? They have the much more trust in the OpenAI. Why? Why they are not using any other model? We have the llamas also, llama 2, llama 3, and so on and so on. Why? The major reason is that now OpenAI have the very very good selection of the data. They have worked, you can say, or they have spent a lot of time in the data part, right? Irrespective of the training of the model. That is why is the kind of you can say the very very important thing, right? The data, the selection of the data, even the sourcing and the synthesis of the data, right? So selection, you know that we need to select the data. That is some that that thing should be means much more accurate, right? So you know that now OpenAI have used the Twitter data, right? They have they collaborated with the Meta also, right? They have used the Facebook data. I mean everything they have scrapped, right? The model building or the amount of data the OpenAI have used is something tremendous in today's time, right? That is why it is at the top notch position. Though we are having the in about 10 days there is one more model comes into the market, right? Though OpenAI has maintained its standard, and that standard is because of the data only, right? See, because everyone knows how to do the EDA cleaning, normalization, model building, and everything, right? Every company is knows, every developers knows these things very very well, right? But here the major part, or you can say where the OpenAI has played a very very important role, that is data part. Okay, and after that the sourcing of the data, that means from where you are basically fetching your data, right? And after that the synthesis, that how you can using that particular data in the operational part. Okay, so this is with respect to the data, right? And after that we have the data engineering, right? I already told you we have done the EDAs also, right? Exploration, cleaning, and the normalization of the data, right? And the scaling also we have done, right? So we have seen the KNN and other algorithm in which we have performed the scaling part, right? After that you will see the modeling, right? That we have done the training, the tuning, evaluation, and your model selection, right? We know that see, after going through the complete ML playlist, right? So definitely you have came to know that XGBoost is one of the best algorithm that we have studied till now, right? Whether you talk about the logistic regression, whether you talk about the random forest, or whether you talk about the SVM, right? The XGBoost is something that have the a kind of side, right? It have something very very good in its own way. Okay, or if we talk about the gradient boosting also. Okay, so this is something that you should know, that which model we need to select, right? So model selection is also kind of important thing, and that's come under the this data science process, right? At last we have the values, right? So values in the sense nothing but a kind of operational part that you need to perform once you have trained your data, right? And that is the deployment of your data, right? Your monitoring and the retraining. And I already told you, if you remember, during the starting of our ML playlist, that we were having the online learning and the offline learning, right? And the online learning is some of the very, very important part on which you are retraining your model, right? You are giving some new data set to your model so that it can basically increase its efficiency, or it can basically maintain the what we call it can basically maintain the standard, right? Or it can update itself from the today's nowadays whatever the latest data it will have, right? So we will see everything. Okay, so step by step that we will take some of the project also, right? So we will do everything from the scratch: selection, sourcing, exploration, everything, model building, deployment, monitoring, and again retraining on the new data set, right? And see, whenever you are doing this kind of things now, you have some constraint, right? You have some legal constraint, you have some ethical and the transparency, you have some historical bias and some security thing, right? So every whenever you develop any kind of short software or anything now, so we need to keep in mind some constraint parameter, right? That you should just consider these, you should not violate those conditions, right? So this is how basically your complete the data science cycle look like this, maybe you can call in this way, right? Okay, so this is the same thing, right? So you have the data ingest, data testing, data analysis, data pre-processing. So you see, this is the something that is dealing with the data, right? After that we have the model training, the model tuning, model evaluation, model testing, and at last we will get our final model, right? See, you can see over here, nothing has been included from the MLOps part, right? This is the pure machine learning. Okay, this is the pure machine learning cycle or the flow chart, you can say, right? After here now, after this point, we will include our MLOps, right? Okay, so just telling you the difference between the DevOps and the MLOps, right? So you can see over here, this is the cycle for the MLOps and this is the cycle for the DevOps, right? So we should know that what is the difference between the DevOps and the MLOps, okay, because they have their separate role in the market, right? So this is the a kind of flow cycle of the DevOps, right? See, DevOps is nothing but a person who is basically you can say pushing the code that is related to the only software, right? It could be your any software. Okay, so that person is basically given the you can say the role of the DevOps, right? And so on. Okay, so see, this is the cycle, right? And let's suppose we are starting with the coding part, right? So this is the coding part. We will plan something, we will release something, right? After the release, what we will do, we will monitor everything, right? Is there any kind of changes present in your software, whether your software it get outdated or not, right? If it is outdated, we need to retrain on the updated data set and so on, right? After that, what we will do, we will operate some kind of stuff, right? We will again deploy, right? Once we'll deploy, we will again release, we will again test, right? Once it is done, we will again build. Okay, so this kind of cycle is repeated again and again, right? You can just see over here, means right, so this thing is basically repeated again and again. Okay, means in the complete DevOps process, right? So you need to once see, it is not always that okay, you have made your model, okay, you have made your model, that's it. No, this is not the complete cycle. Okay, you have to do the monitoring of also whether what kind of model you are using, right? You have to always update your model. Okay, you have to always operate the thing, right? You have to always do the testing, right? So that you can just ensure that it is giving you the correct result. Okay, once it is not giving you the, what you can do, you can again build your model, right? Again you just retrain your model on the updated data set, right? So this is the, see, this is the process we were talking about, the DevOps in the sense that you have the normal software, a very very normal software. You can just take about the learning management system, LMS, right? Or you can take any sort of software, right? And in this software there is no machine learning, nothing is included, right? So that kind of the process or the role that you assign, that is known as DevOps, right? But if we talk about the MLOps, right? So you can just see over here, right? ML, Dev, and Ops, right? So these are the three words from where you have get the MLOps term, right? So you can just see over here, MLOps is a methodology of operation that aim to facilitate the process of bringing an experimental machine learning model into the production and maintaining it efficiently, right? And MLOps focus on bringing the methodology of DevOps, right? That foundational thing is DevOps only, right? So DevOps came into the market for the first time. After that, the new terms are coining into the market, right? MLOps, DevOps, GenAIOps, so on and so on, right? So methodology of DevOps used in the software industry to the machine learning model lifecycle, right? So I hope means so this term is clear, right? Now, if we talk about this MLOps, right? So you can again means start from anywhere. So let's suppose we are just starting with the organization, right? So there will be the organization. The organization will make a model, right? After we will do the profiling, we will store the log, right? Once it is done, we will continue this thing, right? And after that, we will do the version control, right? We will do the this so we will just reproduce something, right? We will do the distributed apps. We will store everything in the cloud, right? We'll use some packages. After that, we will deploy and will again monitor, right? So whatever kind of log you will get from here, what you will do, you will again monitor the same thing. You will again do the profiling, again make some log, again continue the same process. You will again maintain the version control, so on and so on. Right. So this is the kind of cycle that you need to repeat again and again. Right. Whenever you have your live machine learning any model. Right. So this is the thing. Right. Don't worry. Means if you're not getting this thing, these terms, right? See, main the reason is not of seeing this particular thing now. Basically you can start from anywhere, means at what stage your model is, means at what stage you are working, right? So in this way this diagram has been made. Okay, so you can start with the profiling also, you can start with the model also, right? You can either go this side or either go this side, means any side, right? But don't worry. Okay, so when I will tell you mean this thing in practical, so you will get to know okay how the things are working, right? So this is the first thing, right? So now understand what is the main features of MLOps, right? See, data and model versioning. And you know that versioning is nothing but, let's suppose you have the data one, right? From the data one you have trained the model version one, right? And after again some time, right, maybe 1 or the 2 weeks, right, you have added x amount of data to this data one, and right now you are having data two, right? Now again you have done the online training of your machine learning model, right? Now your model version is v2, right? So this is how basically you can maintain the versions of your models, right? So you have always the latest model, right, in your software, right? That will give you the very good accuracy. If you will use the outdated model, that will be of no use, right? The people will not prefer to use your software, right? That is why you have to always train, you have to always retrain your model again and again on the latest data set. Okay, so I already means I used to do give this example. Let's suppose you are the millennials, right? And you made one software, right, on with the millennials data is, right? Maybe see after some time, maybe 10 years, the changes came into the market, right? But they are not using your data your model. The reason being is that now they have the different thinking, they have the different thinking, right? So upon this thinking you have developed this data, and from this data you have model one, right? And maybe the GNGs have the different thinking. From here you have again the different data, right? But you see the GNGs won't use na this model M1 because they have the different thinking. You need to retrain your model on the GNGs thinking. So this is how MLOps comes into the existence, that you have to order, you have to always do the model versioning, right? After that you will see the feature management and the storing, right? What are the important features that you have to just consider those things whenever you are making your model, right? See, these things will be much more hectic if you don't have any kind of pipeline, right? So the next term is the automation of the pipeline and the process that you need to make the pipeline, right? We will see the CI/CD pipeline, right? I will let you know that see only one click now everything will be performed on its own, right? You don't need to manage everything, means randomly or one by one, one by one, right? Everything will be performed in a one go. So that is something very, very important. And after that, you can see over here CI/CD pipeline for machine learning. CI/CD in this sense, continuous integration, continuous deployment, right? So this is something very, very important. And after that, we have the continuous monitoring of our model, right? See, if you have made now this model M1, and if you're not monitoring your model now, you will not get to know, right? Why your model is not working, why the people are not using your model, and so on, right? So we have always monitor our model. We have to always go through this process, right? And if you know, okay, the model is not performing good, so what do you need to do? You need to again retrain your model on the new data set, right? So these things we will see everything mean in our MLOps technique or MLOps projects, right? Okay. So okay, so I have this flow chart, right? So I hope, see, this chart will basically make you much more clear, right? That who have to learn this MLOps technique, right? So you can see over here, we have the different domains: cloud engineer, we have DevOps engineer, we have software engineer, we have the ML engineer, we have the data scientist, we have the data platform engineer, right? So, see, this cloud engineer is basically responsible for maintaining the infrastructure of the cloud, right? Everything, your auto scaling, right? Making the new instances, all those things basically. Now, see, cloud is something a different topic, right? Different, very, very different topics, right? And you need to dedicate much more times on that particular thing, right? But if you are a machine learning engineer, if you are a deep learning engineer, right? So what amount of thing you should know, right? See, you can't focus now, you can't become, or you can't switch from the machine learning engineer to a cloud engineer, right? Ultimately you will change your domain, or it is not possible, right, to learn the two domain thing. That will definitely take a lot of time. But there are some few things, right, that you can learn, right, from the in cloud itself, right? And that thing basically comes under the process of your MLOps, right? And you can see over here this MLOps engineer. Okay, so this is the kind of subset, right? You should know little bit of software also, you should know machine learning also, right? You should know the cloud services also, right? So this is how basically these are the part of the MLOps, and we will only focus on those important part which are necessary for the ML engineer, right? So he or she basically, they can basically deploy their model onto the cloud, right, and can do the online training and all those stuff, right? They can make the CI/CD pipelines and all those things, right? I hope this thing is clear, right? You see, because if you will focus on this now infrastructure, so see, AWS have 200 plus services, right? So you don't need to focus on all those services. Database is there, right? S3 bucket, though we will focus on the S3 bucket, like Lambda service is there, and n number of services are there. So you can't just focus, right? If you are focusing now, definitely you will change your domain, right? So that is the some kind of drawback. So we will study, or we will just focus on those important part that are basically necessary in terms of ML engineer, or the DL, or you can say your generative AI, right? Or in a uh, vast, in a broad way, you can say just which is necessary for data science domain, right? So this is the thing, okay? And you can just see over here, means in a much more good way, right? See, the software engineer is there, right? He should know the little thing about the infrastructure, this line, right? So then he became the DevOps engineer, right? And if you are focusing on this machine learning, you should know software engineering also, and you should know cloud also, right? So you can just see the difference, right? And that is why the machine learning engineers have much more demand in the market, that they know the cloud services also. They have the little bit knowledge of software engineering also. They have the knowledge of machine learning also, right? So that is why now freshers are not taken as the ML engineer or the data scientist in the means in the freshers roles, right? More often you will see that these roles are basically for those people who is having the experience in the industry, right? Because this role basically demand a lot of things from the individual, right? So you can just figure out mean this thing. I will share this slide in the group, right? Just don't worry. Okay. Now, starting with this basic thing, right? So I already told you over here that what is version control, right? And what is model versioning, right? So we'll start with this thing, right? So see, version control is a fundamental and indisciplinary system that underpin the development and the maintenance of the software, right? So in a broad way, what you can say now, that version control is something that will basically manage the changes, right, to your code, whatever the code you are having, right? And if you are looking to collaborate with someone, let's suppose now you have the very, very big companies, right? And n number of people are working on one single project, right? Okay, maybe this particular person is responsible for deploying the front end part, right? Maybe this person is responsible for the back end part. Maybe other person is responsible for deploying the ML part, right? So what you can do now, basically version control and these things basically give you the kind of reliability, right? And the quality of the enhance, so you can basically do these kind of stuff in a very, very good way, right? So you can just check over here uh, some aspect of the version control, right? Change the tracking, collaboration, reversion. So let's suppose now your version 2 is not performing very, very well. So you can just revert back to the version 1. Or let's suppose the people are not liking this version 2 of your software, right? So what you can do, you can just revert back to your version 1. So this thing can be also possible, right? In MLOps or in DevOps, right? After that, we have the branching, the same thing that I already told you. Then when you have the n number of people that are working on the one software, what we can do now, we can do the branching of this particular thing. I will let you know, right? Then we have the documentation, right? So you can just write that what kind of software you are building and all those things that will basically provide the a kind of context or the insight, right, about the software. So this is something very important, right? So version control, right, is quite important thing, right? So basically this will give you to maintain your updated software, right? Whatever the software you are building. Next, we have the types of version control. So you will see we have the centralized version control, the CVC, right? And next we have the distributed version control that is known as DVC, right? So see, CVC is a centralized version control, right? In which basically you have the central repository. Central repository is nothing but a folder. You can just understand, okay? A folder that is made into the cloud. Okay, you can just understand this is something called repository, right? So basically in centralized version control system, you have only one folder, right? Onto that folder, what you will do, you will do all kind of changes, right? You will maintain the current state, you will store your history, right? And everything, whatever the changes, whatever the commit you are making, you will do onto this onto that particular folder only, right? Next, we have the distributed. So distributed is different from this centralized, right? So see, distributed in that now you make basically you have the main folder, right? You will make the subfolder also. These are some distributed. If you are making changes over here, this changes will be reflected into this folder, right? Not directly onto your main folders. So this thing is very, very helpful. So where it is helpful, let's suppose you and your friend is basically working on one project, right? And maybe your friend by mistake has done the wrong coding part, right? And if you will allow him not to just push that particular code onto your main directory, that will be kind of mess up, right? You will get confused, or maybe your software is if it is deployed other people are using, right? So maybe that will throw some kind of error. Okay, so it is better to go with the DVC. The reason being is that now it will basically push the changes over here in this, and you can just see whatever the changes he has made, right? And if it is correct, or if it is working, so what you can do now, you can just pull all those changes to your main repository or the main folder, right? So we will understand this thing also. So the centralized version and the distributed version, right? So these are the two types of version controlling that you can do, right? And see, you can see over here, this decentralization offer the more flexibility, independence, and the distributed workflow, right? Okay. So this was with the version control, right? And for this version control now, we will use the GitHub, right? So see, GitHub, everyone knows, I know, means everyone know this thing, right? So GitHub is a platform that is used for the version control and the collaboration, right? So it allows the developer to work on the project, track the changes, collaborate with others, right? And GitHub uses the Git, right? And what is Git? Git is a distributed version control system, right? DVC. Okay. So you should know that why we are using the Git. The main reason is that na, when you have the main repository, so you can make the n number of branches from here, right? And n number of people can contribute to your project, or they can run, or they can basically work on a single project, right? So please remember this thing, that GitHub uses the Git, and the Git is nothing but a distributed version control system. Okay. So I hope mean this thing is clear, right? Okay. So once we are done with this thing now, so why we are reading all those things? You know that why we are reading this thing. We all are reading this thing to basically deploy our machine learning model. Okay. To basically deploy our machine learning model onto the cloud, right? So this is the major reason why we are learning this complete thing, right? So I have already told you this machine learning life cycle, right? So in the initial days of our machine learning playlist, right? So you can just see over here, right? So I already told you that we will first define the problem, whatever the problem we are having, right? We will understand our problem. We will only see this highlighting point, right? And after that, I will tell you that we will focus on the that MLOps part, right? After that, we will understand what is the structure of the audience, right? So what kind of functionality or and what kind of things we need to basically give to the audience and so on, right? Next we understand our problem. Now what we will do, we will do the data collection part, right? We will collect the data, and that data should be a quality data, right? Because we know this term, the garbage in garbage out, right? If you will have the garbage amount of data, then definitely you will get the garbage output from your machine learning model, right? So this is the one thing, the quality input, the quality output, the same thing, right? Data store, the data volume, and the diversity should be there in data. The reason being is that now, if you have the data bias, right? So your result will be also biased. So let's talk about the cricket example only, right? If you will ask the Indians, so definitely all the Indians will say that the India will basically win the match, right? So it is a kind of good advice to ask the both the countries people, right? Five people from here, five people from there, right? Then surely you will get the correct result, right? So this is the one thing. Okay. After that, we have the data pre-processing that we all know, right? In the data pre-processing, we used to do handle the missing values, scaling feature we used to do, right? We used to do the encoding parts and so on, right? And once we are done with this thing, we will basically build our model. That means we have the structured data, right? Now we are good to go to do build our model. So to build our model, now when you read na every algorithm, so what you will do, you will just select, okay, just try with the XGBoost. Why? Because we know that XGBoost is very, very good, right? So we will do the kind of algorithm selection, right? And see, in the algorithm selection, just like we have the car, right? And the car is also having some kind of parameters, okay? What is the mileage, speed, and all those things. In the same way, the algorithm is also having some kind of hyperparameters values, the learning rate, epochs, right? Other things are also there, right? What kind of loss function you are using and so on, right? So you can basically tune your hyperparameter values also. Okay, so this is the thing. So this is the same example. Okay, and once we are done with this selection part, that okay, this algorithm we are going to use, right? Maybe the algorithm result will be not that much of good. Okay, just considering that from my end, I have taken the very good algorithm, right? So after that, what I will do, I will just perform the model training, right? And once you are done with this model training, so you know that we will try to reduce the error coming from the model, right? So this thing, okay. And once you are done with this thing, that your model is trained, we will do the model evaluation, right? So F1 score, recall, confusion matrix, right? So these things we have already learned, that how you can basically do the model evaluation thing, right? So once you are done with the model evaluation, now the important thing, right? Because all those process till 2.6, right? We have seen in a very good way, right? Now here's comes the model deployment, right? So model deployment, you can say this is the kind of final, or you can say the crucial phase, right, in your machine learning development cycle. Okay, because now we are making our model that it could be used for the n number of people, right? So we will just implement these things in such a way that the scalability should be there, right? And the monitoring of the model we can do from our own end, from the developer's end, right? So these are something, right? And for the model deployment, so we will set up a kind of environment, right? We will do the model packaging, right? Means so your weight, your architecture, right? We will save all those things maybe in some S3 bucket or somewhere else, right? Or maybe in the same repository, or maybe we'll use some ECR, right? All those things. Okay. After that, we will see the scalability also. That means once you are done with the model deployment, and let's suppose n number of people are hitting your model, right? We will use the auto load balancing, right? So all those things or the features we will try to use, right? After that, same we will do the model monitoring, means the same thing, right? If you have any defect on your model, or let's suppose your model get outdated, right? We will again retrain the model on the updated data set, and same kind of process will repeat again and again in the deployment process, right? Model your setup, packaging, scalability, monitoring, again feedback, right? So this is something very important, right? And see, uh, maybe you can say you're till 2.6, right? So this is the one time process, but this 2.7, right, this is the continuous process. Mean a person or your model need to be monitored 24 by 7, right? If you're a good company, if you're a good startup or something, right? So you need to do this thing, means continuously, right? So this is something very important, okay. And you can just see over here, means so we have to do the maintenance also, right? Means so these things should be done, right? So okay, and these things we have already done, the version control and all those things, okay. Now the thing is that let's start with the fundamental, right? That how we can good to go, okay. So see, for using this means MLOps, right? I already told you that we will select this distributed version control. Okay, and in the distributed version control, the Git is something that will basically provide you that kind of thing, right? That will basically help you for the distributed version control system. So our first step will be to just install, right? Git install. So what you can do now, you can just write and the type over here. So you will get this thing, git-scm.com. Just click over here, right? And just download this thing. Window. If you are using Windows, you can go for Windows. If you are using Mac, you can go for Mac, Linux, or Unix, right? Means anything. So depends upon the system configuration. You can just download from here, right? And once you are downloaded, what you will do now? You can see 32-bit, 64-bit, right? So you can just check this thing from your system configuration. You just download 64-bit, right? And see, once it is downloaded, right? So just type over here git, right? So you will see some git bash, git gui, git cmd over here, right? So our whole intention will be to use this git bash, right? Just click over here. So you will get a window like this, right? In which what we will do now, we will basically write some sort of command, right? And that command will be help to clone our repository, to push our code, right? And to commit any kind of changes and to make the new branch and so on, right? So this thing should be done in your system, right? Means installing the Git and just checking, right? So you can just check also git hyphen version, right? So it will give you 2.4.8 and this is Windows, right? So this is the first step. The second step is that if you have the AWS account, right? So you can just go to AWS, right? And just sign in, right? Okay. Just sign in and make your account over here, right? So right now I'm not having the account, right? So means I have the account, but I just forget my credential. Okay. So you can just go and sign in, right? So okay. So this is something important. After that, what you have to do, you have to make your GitHub also, right? So you can just go to github.com. Okay. You have the GitHub account because we will use this as the cloud, right? This will be used as the cloud. Okay. So this is the one thing, right? Okay, so these three things should be done, right? After that, what we will do means to start the thing, right? That how we can go on, right? So this is important, right? So let's suppose we want to basically make one project very small. Let's take this name as a blog. So what you can do, you can just create a folder, and this folder is basically written as a new repository over here, right? Go over here, just name your folder, right? And this folder will be now stored on your cloud, and that cloud is your Git, right? You GitHub. So let's suppose I'm just writing over here blog, right? And see, this availability will be checked upon your number, whatever the name you have given. If you have the same name folder, so it will show you that select the different name, right? After that, there is a kind of the two things. If you want to make this repository public, you can just select public, and if you want to make private, you can just make private, right? Depends upon your use case, right? If you have some confidential code, so you can just make private so that no one can basically access your that particular repository, right? After that, we have add readme file. Okay, so this is something, a kind of that description you can write about your project or your whatever you are doing, right? And see, below over here you will see this will set main as the default branch, right? So what is branch and from where this branch concept came into existence, right? So we will understand after maybe some time, right? So if you have the master branch over here, right? So you can just go to settings, okay, and you can just update from here, right? Just write the master, click on update, it will automatically update, right? So right now we are having the main branch. Okay, so what I will do now, I will just create over here. Okay, so blog. Okay, we have add readme file. So add readme is the a kind of, you can just add if you want to just write anything about your project, right? If you want the user to show okay what kind of project it is, and just create on the create repository, right? So what it will do now, it will basically create a folder, right? This is a folder, this blog, right? And inside this you will have some files, whatever the files you have related to your project, right? And we have these features also, right? Maybe after some time I will tell you that what are those features, right? One by one we will go through all the features. And see, this is your readme file. By default it has written block, and if you want to rewrite, you can just click on this pen or the pencil, right? And you can just write over here, means anything, blog hello, right? Commit the changes, that means you are saving your changes, right? Commit changes over here, right? So you can just see over here, now it has been written blog hello, right? Once it is done, right? Once it is done, so it is this green button, right? When you will click over here, so you will get the flexibility, And what kind of flexibility, that you can just copy everything, right? You can just copy this folder onto your local system. How? You can just clone everything, right? So you can see over here, local is written, clone is written, right? HTTPS, that you can either do by this link also, right? Git clone. Either you can use this SSH also, right? So it will basically require your public key also, right? So I will let you know. Or either you can use the GitHub CLI, right? So see, this command is written, gh repo clone this, right? Your repo name slash your folder, whatever the folder you are having, right? Sorry, your username slash your repo name, right? So this is the one thing. Other thing is that now you can just download the zip. So when I will click on this zip file now, see, it has downloaded the zip file, right? For this complete, when you will unzip, you will see only this readme.md file over here, right? And this md is nothing but dot markdown, right? Extension for writing whatever you want to just show over here, right? Now what I will do, I will try to connect my GitHub with my local system, right? And how I can perform this thing. Okay, so I'm just saving this thing. Let me, give me a second, right? So what I will do, see, I have cloned this thing, so you can just see over here, right, in my download. Okay, so let's suppose I'm just making a new folder, right? So maybe this time I'm giving the blocks name. Okay, I will just go to this folder, right? This folder, right? What you can do, just open your git bash, right? Write ls over here. So you will get means everything what is inside this, right? Whatever the directory you are using currently. We know that we have the folder in our desktop. We will go to the desktop. Again, you will do ls. So maybe whatever the folder or the files you are having, right, you will see in this over here, right? And we know that we have made the blocks folder, right? So we'll go to block. Inside this we have nothing, right? We know that inside this block folder we have nothing. Okay, now the thing is that I want to just connect my this folder to my this GitHub repo, right? How I can do? Very very easy, right? What you can do now, you can just go to over here, right? Git init, initialize empty git repo in this one and this one, right? And see, this time it has switched to your branch master, right? But we want that we can use this main branch, right? So I will let you know that how we can basically check out this branch also, right? So meanwhile, let me clear this thing, right? Okay, now the thing is that now let's suppose I want to just clone, right? So you can see over here, this initialization has been done, this initialization has been done, right? So this is the first way, this is the first way, that you just write a git in it, right? And it will initialize your branch. The other way is that now means what is the other way, let me tell you. uh, just citing clear over here. Okay, and I'm just deleting this folder, right? I'm just deleting that folder. What is the other way? Other way is that just go to over here, right? Just go to this https, just copy this thing, right? Whatever the this https you are having, right? Just again go to the same folder, right? The same folder, desktop blocks, right? Git clone over here and do paste over here, right? Using your right command. So see, it is just cloning, means whatever you are having and a kind of connection will be built up, right? So once you are done with this thing now, mean by just running this command, again go to your folder, right? So you will see your folder has been cloned, right, in this blog. So what you can do now, just click in this folder, cut this dot git, right? This is the hidden file. Maybe for the first time you can't see this file. So what you can do now, just go to views, show, and just check this one, right? Hidden item. So you will see this hidden file, right? And just bring this file to your main folder, whatever the main folder you are having inside your desktop, right? So this git is there, right? That means we are now connected our local system with our GitHub repo, right? We have connected, means this folder with our this GitHub repo, right? Okay, right. Now I will show you that how we can basically push the code that means from the local to this GitHub repo, right? So let's suppose what I'm doing, just cmd, right? Just writing code over here. That means I will just make some files over here, right, inside this folder. So this is my folder in my desktop, right? Let's suppose I'm just making, see, my dot git is not showing over here because that is the hidden file, right? That you can see only from your this way, right? By going to this thing. Okay, you can't see in this. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm just making uh, hello dot txt file, right? I have made this thing, and let's suppose hello txt or hello world. I'm just writing and saving this thing, right? So you can just see over here one folder has been made, right? Sorry, one file I have made in this folder. Now my job will be to just push this whatever I am having in my local to my GitHub, right? So what I can do, just go to here, like just type git status. So git status is the command that will tell you whether you have something left to push in your direct in your repo or not, right? If you have something left, so it will show you in a red color. So you can see over here, right, hello.txt untrack file, right? And see, it is just giving you some kind of suggestion also. Use git add your file name, right? If you want to push particular file, you can just write git add your file name, that means hello.txt. And if you want to push everything whatever you have in this folder, right, in this folder, so what you can write now, git add and space and then dot, right? So, right, so see, it is showing you means everything, right? So what I will do, I will write git add, right? I want everything to be pushed, so I will write in this way and will hit enter. And if you want that only this file need to be pushed, so you can just write hello.txt, right? So I just want that everything to be pushed, right, to be add, sorry, right? I will just add this thing. Again, when you will check git status, right? So see, this time you will get this thing to be in green color, right? And you will see over here that you are on main branch, right? You are on main branch, and your branch is up to date with origin slash main, right? Mean everything is, see, visible over here, right? You have to just confident that you are just reading these things and you are just understanding, right? And see, is it again giving you the new command that you have to commit anything, that, right, that you have to write the code for the commit also. Okay, so what I will do, I will write git commit minus n, right? And I'm just writing, see, I'm just writing any comment in the sense I will do the commit using this comment, right? Basically it will show you in your GitHub repo. Okay, so I'm just writing initial change, right? Okay, and just hitting enter. So you can see over here two files change, one insertion, one deletion, this way, right? Git commit. After that, what I want to do, I want to just push everything, right? Git push, okay? And uh, give me a second. Yeah, git push and origin, right? After that, see, we are on the main branch. So that is why I am writing over here main. So when I will hit enter, so everything will be pushed, right? See, I'm just pushing everything from main to our main branch, from main to our main branch, right? I mean everything you can see, and this is the address, or you can say not the address, or you can say this is the what I can say, the token also you can say, right? I will show you these token also. Again, go to your GitHub over here, right? And again refresh this folder. See, now you are having hello.txt file. That means whatever the local changes you are having now, whatever you have done, you have pushed everything to this GitHub repo, right? And if I want to show you the full name, this token, see, this token have been over here, B445A7F, right? B445A7F. Initial, it was this one, 3C38D93D, right? And now this token has been changed to this, right? So this is how basically what you can do now. Whatever the local file you are having now, you can just push to this GitHub, right? And from this GitHub now, why we are using this? Because this is the kind of version control, right? It will basically help you to control the version of your software or the model, whatever we are having, right? I hope this thing is clear, so how you can basically make the thing, right? And see, maybe for the first time if you are doing this thing now, so it will basically ask you the pass key, right? It will basically ask you the pass key. So what you can do, you can just go to this your profile, right? Go to your settings, right? It will ask your username. See, this is your username, just like Abhinay01 underscore RGB, right? So see, this setting will be open, and just go a little bit more. This is your. It will basically ask you the SSH key, right? So what you can do now, you can just generate the SSH key from here. I guess this is the correct one, if I'm not wrong. Give me a second. Developer setting. Sorry. Yeah. So this is the personal token. Sorry. So this is the personal token you have to make, right? So what you can do now, just go to the setting, right? So it will ask you the personal token, right? To basically connect your this GitHub with your local, right? So whenever you will do for the first time, go to this developer setting, right? And go to this authorized apps or something, right? Sorry, personal, this one, right? And click on this token. So you can just see, I have just uh, I have generated this token, right? So it will show you the date also. It will get expired by August 2024. Okay, it gets expired. So you can just make or just create the new token also from here, right? And you can just paste that particular token whenever you are just connecting your GitHub, right? So this thing you have to done, so whenever you are doing this thing for the first time, right? And after that you can just use this command, right? If you don't want to go with this git init now, you can simply make a repository, right? Just go and make the repository, okay? And once you are done with this repository, what you can do, you can just uh, copy that command, right? Git clone and your repository name, right? Whatever you are having, okay? So this is the kind of good thing, okay? And see over here, let me show you, right? When you will come to this interface, go to this code, right? Just copy this thing, right over here, git clone, right? And maybe now after this process now, it will ask you some credential as your username, your passkey. So just provide that particular credential. So once you will get connected, so maybe it will this thing will be now, this will time out after some period of time. Maybe it will take 1 month, 2 months, and so on, right? So you don't need to worry about that particular thing. Meanwhile, you can just figure out this thing, right? After that, just make that particular folder, whatever the folder you are having now, you have to just come to this folder, right? And you have to just perform these kind of stuff: git status, commit, and push origin. And once you have pushed whatever you have done now, so you will see over here, right? And after that, we will figure out what the next we need to do, right? So if you want, I can show you one more change over here, right? So let me show. I'm just writing hello over here. See, this is something very, very important. Now, it will not only see the file also, right? It will show you what kind of changes you are making inside every file, right? And this is the important thing, okay? And I guess I have not told you .env file, right? Environment file. See, .env file na, .env file is a file, means this is the .env file, right? .env file is a kind of file in which basically you store your credentials, right? Just like your OpenAI key and so on. So GitHub will not give you access, right? Means you directly pushing your .env file, right? The reason because that for the security purpose, right? It will not allow you to push the .env file directly, right? So whenever you are deploying your app in the deployment some server, at that moment you have to make this mkdir.env. Just make that file. Or if you are going with the Ubuntu, just like write sudo nano.env, right? So I will show you all those things. Means for now you can just understand .env file cannot be pushed. Just like I was just pushing this, it will show you the error, right? So I'm just deleting this thing over here, right? So let's suppose I have made these changes. Again, I will go to our this git bash, this writing git status, right? So it is now showing, right, that something have been modified in this folder hello.txt. Again, what you can do, again git add, right? Again, write git commit, right? And see, if you are doing some other changes, so it is better to give some other comment, right? So I'm just writing removed hello, right? What I have done, I have just removed the hello. I'm correct, right? So just hit enter, right? After that, what you will do, again push right into the main only. So just wait for some time, right? So see, the new address or the new token have been generated, right? Again go over here, right? And if you will open that, you can just open also by just double clicking. You can see over here hello is there, world has been removed, right? And see, this is your new token or new address, right? So okay, just going to this folder, right? I mean, this is how basically you can see everything, right? And see, when you will click on this commits now, we have made 4 commit till now, right? Click on this commit, so you will see everything. So this was the initial commit that we have made for the first time when we will just writing git init, right? When we were declaring this thing. After that, we have updated, mean that we have made this readme file. After that, we have done the initial commit. After that, we have removed this thing. So you can just see everything from here, right? And why it is verified, because these things have been done from the system. And this, and see these, you can see the address also, means the token with respect to each commit whatever you are doing, right? And these commits are important because all they have done from the main branch, right? You can have the master branch or you can name anything branch. See, for the one project now, the people or the industry or the project are having the 200 plus branches, right? Because the different peoples are working there. And what everyone do now, what everyone will do, everyone will do some sort of changes, right? And they will try to push into the main branch. Okay, that thing we will see, means in the next class, that how you can externally push anything to this main branch, right, by making your own branch. Okay, so let me give you the quite kind of you can say. Okay, see this thing we have done, right? Git init, git adding, git committing, git branch, right? Okay, let me show you. See, git branch, when you want to just create the new branch, let's suppose I have one more person, we are working on one project, right? So what I will do now, I will just write clear, okay, git branch. Currently, I'm in main branch, right? So this thing I have, okay. Let's suppose you want to just make new branch, or you want to just switch from one branch to the other branch, right? So for that particular, for the switching, what you can use git checkout. After git checkout, you just write your branch name, whatever the branch name you are having, right? So this is how basically we can basically collaborate, right? We can basically push our changes to the remote repositories also, whatever we are having, right? So these things need to be also learned, right? And we are using the GitHub. Why? The major reason is that it will basically provide you the flexibility of the distributed version controlling, right? That means n number of people can basically contribute to your project, right? This is the major reason. Okay, and we have done means everything, right? Branching also. Okay, and you can see over here. Okay, let me show you means this thing. So let's suppose I'm writing git branch, and let's suppose I'm a ML developer, right? So I'm writing MLOps. Okay, git branch. Now you are having main. See, the green will be in which you are currently, right? Sitting, you can say, or you are just focusing. This is the other branch, MLOps. Git checkout MLOps. Switch to the MLOps, and you can see over here from the main we have jumps to the MLOps, right? So after that, what you can do now, if you want, if you are making any sort of file or any folder, right? So what you will do now, you will push again. You will follow the same step. You will add, you will push everything, right? But this time now, your push will be not directly. It will merge with the main, right? It will not directly merge with the main repository, right? Main branch, sorry. The reason being is that now it will first verify, right? Whoever basically handling your main branch, right? It need to first verify it with this particular person. Okay, so this is the thing, right? Okay, so because I have not done anything, so it will not show you means at that moment. So maybe we can just continue this thing from the next class, right? So I hope mean this thing is clear to everyone that what is branching and why we are using the branching, right? So let's suppose now we are five people and we have one project. So everyone can make their own branch, right? And they can just contribute it, to this particular project. Okay, when I see okay that particular is having some kind of valuable thing to be contribute in my project, right? So I will just pull that particular whatever the changes he have made in my branch, right? So this is how mean industry is working on this uh, the projects, right? The big projects. And see, maybe there will be out of five people now, maybe there are two people who have shown the interest in the initial phase, but after they just forget, right? So dead branches are also there in GitHub, right? Dead branches in the sense that basically lasted for few times. After that they are not working, anything is not happening on those branches, right? So, and one more thing, that branching won't affect your project until unless you are not pulling your request, right? Whatever the request is made by that particular person, right? I mean, anyone can make any sort of branches from your project if your this thing is visible or he or she know, okay, this is the GitHub repo, right? So just writing git clone can make the branch and just do any sort of changes, right? But it will not directly seen in your main branch, right? Again, you can just write checkout. This is your main, right? We have switched to the main branch, right? So you can just consider this is the administration and these are some others person, right? MLOps, DevOps, and so on and so on, right? So I hope mean this thing is clear to all, right? And please let me know if you're having any sort of doubt to anyone. Means till here.
Yeah, Vinay. You so like generating the token and all. Like,
Mm-hmm.
is it like the same way like the way we use git config hyphen hyphen global email and username?
Exactly. You have to
Oh,
first give your username, and after that, it will show you the window. A small window will come, right?
okay.
Previously, what happened? Na, the password was used, but after some time, they have changed their policy. Now they are using the pass key, I guess. Means right now they are using this.
I have done it long ago, so it asked me like to enter this command hyphen hyphen config global email and username. That time I
Mhm.
entered the password authenticate. So now we have to generate the token for the same. Is it like that?
I exactly because they have changed. Maybe you have to do that. I guess confirm you have to do this kind of thing. Right?
Oh, okay, got
Yeah, means anyone who have any sort of doubt, please make the this download this Git, right? Because Git is the kind of you can just download GitHub desktop also, right? UI will be much more good, but I will not recommend to use the GitHub desktop. The reason being is that now you will not learn these commands, right? You will just use the UI for that particular thing, right? So I will recommend that to download this Git only, right, for the Windows or the Mac, whatever you are using, and after that you can just good to go, right? I will share this file in the group itself, right? So if you need any sort of help, you can just go to those command and you just proceed, right? Anyone means anyone is having any sort of doubt, please let me know so we can conclude this session.
Abhinay,
Yeah,
uh, am I audible?
yeah, you're audible. Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah,
Hello.
yeah, you are audible, Neha. Please go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, yeah. There was some issue with my mic. Okay. Yeah. So just one question. So MLOps is open source.
Which one?
MLOps.
I didn't get MLOps.
Yeah, MLOps is open source.
MLOps in what respect means? I didn't get.
So MLOps is tool, right?
No. MLOps is the kind of you can say this is the domain or the kind of role.
Okay.
ML flow is the tool that will basically a kind of it give you the whatever you are doing in your means making your model, the maintenance and all those things. Na? ML flow is the tool. So let me show
Oh,
you.
okay,
Means
okay, okay.
I will tell you ML flow also, right? So if you want, you can just go to this uh, documentation part of this ML flow also, right? So you can just see over here, right? So this is the open source platform. Although the
Okay.
MLOps is a domain, means a kind just like the data scientist we have, DevOps we have, right? So MLOps is also
Mhm.
kind of domain, a role you can say.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
Okay, so I guess so we can conclude this session, right? So we'll start with this merging and all those things, na? And after that, we will start with means with the very basic that how we can go ahead, right?
Sure. Thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone.